Hey guys, it's Danny Elliott. Welcome back to the show. Thank you for joining me today. So I want to cover this article I saw yesterday that Gen Z is the least proud to be Americans, according to a recent poll. This article, you should have seen the comment section. I'd never seen commenters so pissed before. Yelling and screaming that Gen Z is just a bunch of ingrates and they're socialists and they don't want to work and let's just say they're a diverse population, not like the boomers, okay? I used to hear when I was a little kid back in the 90s that we can't afford this. We're passing this on to our children and grandchildren. Well, guess what? Here we are. The millennials are the children and Gen Z are the grandchildren. And when is it ever enough for these boomers? I mean, they literally got to pull forward all of our wealth back into their greatest times, their career years. They got to buy an average house for $5,000 and they paid $5 in property tax. And then they got to upgrade to a better house, and then an even better house, and now they live in a mansion that's 4,000 square feet, and they can just take out endless home equity loans and home equity lines of credit, and just keep on spending on vacations and upgrading the house, and their lifestyle just keeps getting better and better, and they keep adding on more and more debt. And Gen Z, they can't afford a pot to piss in, to quote an old saying. But Gen Z gets blamed for everything, and millennials are too old, so nobody cares about us anymore. But yeah, I wanted to talk about this because what is it to be an American? We pay among the highest tax rates in the world. Most of our money goes to government. It goes to Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare, and these corporations are devaluing our labor. We've been importing workers from around the world so that we can keep on cheapening our labor. And so our wages have gone down steadily over the last 40 years. So, please explain to me what we should be proud of to be living here in America right now. Should we be proud that we have 40% of the world's debt? Should we be proud that on 4th of July we just added $4 trillion to our national debt? Should we be proud of that? I'm not proud of that. I'm not proud that we have a U.S. Congress that steals from us on a constant basis and it never ends. See, I was reading an article about Mamdani in New York. The reason Mamdani is so dangerous for the political elites, the establishment in this country, is because he's just going too fast. He's got his foot on the gas with, his policies. And the political elite, the Republicans and the Democrats in Washington, the central planners, they don't want to go fast. They want to steal from us progressively. They want to just keep on inflating, keep on spending and printing money. And it's got to be at a medium pace, because if you go too fast, people are going to figure out that the prices of the goods and services, that the drastic loss of purchasing power in the United States is a result of their policies. It's a result of government spending, because they have the ability through the monetary system to steal from us without us even figuring it out. Most people can't figure it out. Most people just listen to what the Fed says. They listen to Powell. They listen to the mainstream media. Now, I can tell you from talking to people on the 4th that they think there's something wrong with the younger generations. They just think that we should just keep on heading into the slaughterhouse, being in the rat race, just go get a job, bro, you just need to put your head down, work more hours, and pay these taxes because we need to get our Social Security and Medicare. And you guys don't want to participate in the workforce. Don't you understand how important participation is? We gave you participation trophies. That was supposed to tell you that participation in the workforce is the most important thing in this world. But we figured out over time, millennials and Zoomers, more Zoomers I would say than millennials, they know that corporations are stealing from them. They know that they're giving way more value in their labor than they're receiving in compensation. They know all this. So Zoomers are not proud to be Americans. And I'm not really that shocked by this. I am not shocked at all. Because when we've lost 90% of our purchasing power, we've started to figure out that there's really no value in working. There's no value in going down the same road that everybody's been doing for, since the central banks started screwing with the business cycle and the economy. It's just gotten worse and worse over time, and it's gotten to a point where there's really nothing to be gained by just having a job, just over broke. Somebody was asking me, they were talking about how podcasts are dangerous because there's a lot of misinformation on podcasts. And I said, well, the mainstream media is dying because they've been lying to us all our lives. And I think millennials and Zoomers are starting to figure it out. And actually, I even started my own show. Just little old me, I have a show on YouTube. And they were like, what are you doing that for? You can't make any money with that. You don't make any money with that, do you? And I'm like, well, I only have 99 subscribers, so no, I don't make any money with that. So, by the way, if you want to subscribe, please hit the subscribe button. It really helps me out. I'm trying to get to 100. But you don't make any money with that. What are you wasting your time for? And I said, well, I think it's valuable to talk about business and real estate and finance with people who are interested in the future rather than doing things the way we've always done them, which is the way the boomers and the Xers want us to do it. They just want us to go back to work. They want us to stop not participating in a rigged system. People that really want to get an equal exchange of value, that want to get the same back from what they invest into their job, into work, are going into business for themselves. So that's what a YouTube show is about. It's about, I'm putting in as much value as I can give you guys, and I'm trying my best to try to give you guys something to think about every day. If I offer something of value, then you can help me grow my channel, and therefore it'll reach more people, and then I'll get paid royalties through advertising dollars. But I'll end up making more money doing that than I would listening to my boomer boss tell me how I didn't file my TPS reports the right way, or listening to emails from Karen in HR telling me that the new hire paperwork did not have the date next to the signature. This is the thing. This is why Zoomers are saying, this country used to be something else. It used to be a pretty good place to work. It used to be a pretty good place to have a good lifestyle, have a family, have children, and, enjoy the time, because we're only here for a little while. But today it's just not what it used to be, And I think for a lot of Zoomers, they're just saying the juice isn't worth the squeeze, and we're not going to participate in a rigged system anymore. And I mean, this bill is going to make life harder for everybody. It's another $4 trillion in national debt, and it's going to be, people are going to lose their food benefits, they're going to lose their medical benefits, there's going to be cuts, and so net income for the lowest income individuals in the country is going to go down, and the rich are going to get a tax cut. So Zoomers and millennials are looking at that and saying, well, that's great. More help for the already wealthy. We didn't do enough for the wealthy during the lockdown period when we spent more money. In 2 years, we printed more money than we printed in the previous 200 years. But yet that wasn't enough. We have to keep on giving more breaks to the political elite. The spoil system is alive and well. Everybody in the Congress and all the government officials down there are celebrating. They all got paid off. All their districts are going to get the cash, and we just get to pay for it through our tax dollars. And a lot of millennials and Zoomers are just like, hey, this is it. I don't want to play this game anymore. I'm going to go into business for myself. I'm going to start something. I'm going to do a project, a side gig. I'm going to do my own thing because this isn't working out for me. And so I'm not going to participate in a rigged system anymore. And bravo. All I can say is bravo, because that's what I'm doing right now. I invest in real estate. I got enough that I can survive. But I'm starting to figure out with this cost of living crisis that's happening and just the overall degradation of the society because of all of this debt, all of this endless government spending that benefits people who are not like me, who are well-connected political elites and the very rich who have friends who are central planners in the Washington government. You know, it doesn't benefit us. And people like me are much better off living a fabulous lifestyle somewhere outside of the United States while holding US dollars. So, I mean, that's my strategy that, you know, I talk about it occasionally on this channel. And if you like the video, please hit the like button. I appreciate you watching today, guys. And, you know, one more thing about this. Like, I never wanted to leave. I never wanted to leave the country. I believed in the American dream when I was a little kid growing up. And my Uncle Sam died yesterday. He was 93 years old, and we used to go to his house on 4th of July and have cookouts and stuff, and it was really a lot of fun. And, you know, he worked for IBM in New York, and he lived in Poughkeepsie, upstate New York. And, I mean, that company's gone. They're not in Kingston anymore. I mean, like, I think to all the people I know, all my relatives that have passed, and they all had good paying jobs, right? And they all made enough money that they were able to pay for the food, they could buy a nice house, they could go on nice vacations. They had a very nice lifestyle, and they had money left over to retire, and they enjoyed a nice retirement. And I don't see the same future for us, for our generation and the generations behind us, you know? The Gen Alpha kids that are in high school right now. I mean, we're not going to have the same lived experience, but these boomers are going to tell you to keep doing the same thing that they've always done and just keep on doing it, and it doesn't matter. Observable reality is not a thing, and just ignore everything you see around you because there's nothing to see there. You know, don't believe your lying eyes. Believe us. This economy is just wonderful, bro. And I don't know why you don't want to go to work. I don't know why you don't want to do these things. And, you know, you guys just need to go back to work and pay your taxes and, you know, just put your nose to the grindstone, work 60 hours a week, you know, kiss the boss's ass, ask if there's anything else you can do. And it doesn't matter if they don't give you any extra compensation. It doesn't matter if, you know, you get 3% wage increases while the purchasing power declines by 40%. Don't even worry about it. It doesn't matter. You know, another $4 trillion on the national debt doesn't matter. You know, like cost of living sky high doesn't matter. I mean, this is just nuts, guys. I'm going on a rant here. I gotta stop. But anyways, guys, I appreciate you watching the show today. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you in the next episode. Thanks for watching. I'm Danny Elliott.